One of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right, but not enough about the subject to know you're wrong.
Well, how's it shaking, proxies? My name's Fox Soul. Welcome to another video right here on the channel. Do hope you enjoy. Apparently, chat, our first video that we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a little bit of a quick reaction to is from a person called Kazahana, who did a 10-minute and 39-minute video, 10-minute and 39-second video about Wuthering Waves was left out of Gamecom's awards, and here's why. So apparently he has the answers to, if you're interested in knowing why it was, not there at the Gamecom awards. Apparently he has the answer. So I figure we could go ahead and watch this real quick, and then we can get into some information afterwards. You guys good with that? You guys are good with that idea? I mean, we got some other stuff that we got to cover. Don't worry, we got a bunch of stuff we got to cover. What's up? What's up there, sir? All right, so how's it going, proxies? Welcome to our topic of conversation, our react video of the evening. And in this video, like I stated before, we are going to be watching Kazahana's video about Wuthering Waves left out of the Gamecom Awards, and apparently he knows why. And I like to go ahead because this was presented to me earlier today, and I haven't really watched much of it. I watched a good bit of it, and then I paused the video, and then I went to go do some research. And my research, I think, finds out a little bit something different. But in regards, if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at what Kazahana has to say about Wuthering Waves was robbed from Gamescom, apparently.
So, Wuthering Waves got robbed. Well, kind of. I don't really know how to explain this one, but it's a very interesting situation that's been going on involving the Gamescom Awards, which obviously Wuthering Waves have not been involved in this time. And it seems pretty interesting because it seems that there's some games in there which has some people pretty angry at the fact of, they've left out a ton of really great games that have been, kind of absolutely killing it over on mobile over the past year. Now, if you don't know, Gamescom have an award show every single time. Gamescom is a big like convention type thing, whatever you call it, event that takes place, I think, over in Europe. And yeah, it's a big thing, and they often hold these awards where essentially they have these different categories, and you can see already a lot of them have been very biased towards some new titles, including obviously Borderlands 4. I think Resident Evil Requiem is a new one as well, and it seems like they like to include a lot of titles that haven't even been released yet for an award show, and I think a lot of people have been
Apparently, Gamescom is being very biased, and a lot of the games that have not even been released yet, from what he's saying so far, is showing up for an award show. Okay. We got the picture so far, right? We're getting the picture so far. I just want to make sure.
Pretty mad about this because it's an interesting choice to kind of include new titles that haven't even come out yet. And let's just scroll down all the way down to the one that we care about, which is Best Mobile Game, which is one that a lot of people have been kind of arguing over, especially due to the fact of Wuthering Waves not being included in here. Now, again, I think Dungeon Crawler, from what I've seen, I've never heard of the game, but I don't know if the game is actually out, so I'm not going to talk about that one. But Genshin Impact, obviously, controversial opinion, I think that should be there. I mean, I have no problem with that being there. It is a current mobile game, and it's been killing it still, regardless of what a lot of people say. That's fine. Love and Deep Space as well. They have been absolutely killing it, as we've seen on the revenue charts and stuff. So again, they also deserve to be there. And Seven of the Lake, I don't really know either. But we got 3 gacha games here, and the one that a lot of people are talking about is Arknight's Enfield, because they've been nominated for Best Mobile Game, but the game's not even out yet. So a lot of people are very confused as to why this is the case. Enfield is literally in beta testing, or it has been in beta testing, and we don't even have a release date yet. Now, obviously, a lot of you guys have probably picked up already that, it's probably due to the fact that Enfield is going to get a release date, maybe a new trailer or something like that at Gamescom, and it's going to be a very popular thing. But I do think it is very, very, not scummy, but just very weird how they've decided to actually add them to the nominees for Best Mobile Game when the...
So my question here, and I think you already brought it up right now, chat. Did the game already get an early access? Didn't like a lot of people, already get to play this? It wasn't just like a closed beta. It was actually opened to the public. Because I know a lot of videos that you guys in the past have shown me was like a lot of people were waiting for the early access to dive right into it. So I understand that the game is not fully released yet, but I mean, the game has been opened up previously to the public. Yeah, like it's not officially live. That's what I thought. Okay, well, I mean, so far so good. Let's continue on with the video. I mean, I just wanted to clear that. Everything is rigged. Trust me. You know what? Like, look, this almost sounds like this is going to be like the Game Awards from last year when, ZZZ, Wuthering Waves was up against Valchero or whatever the game was, the card game, and it lost to that. I mean, that, God forbid, hopefully it won't here. But let's continue with the video real quick.
Mobile game isn't even out yet. Even if you look back at Arknight's Enfield, for example, like the beta testing, a lot of the beta testing was mainly done over on PC. There wasn't really a beta test over here on mobile. A lot of it was mainly done over on CN. They did do a mobile test, but again, a lot of it was catered towards PC gaming as well.
And I'm just gonna say really quickly, because before we continue the video anymore, I just want to make sure something, because I do have it open over here. I do have Gamecom's award show open up. There was before, because his camera's kind of blocking it. There is right here Servant of the Lake as well, which he did not talk about, which is also part of the nominees for the best mobile game. So I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about Dungeon Crawler, but let's just say his big ass fucking webcam right here is blocking the view of a fourth game that is, also being nominated.
Wow. Which I think was very interesting. Now, don't get me wrong, Arknight's Enfield is a great game. I really loved a lot of the mechanics whenever I played the beta, and I can't wait for it to come out. But I don't think it does deserve to be on the nominees for the best mobile game. Because how can something be the best mobile game whenever it's not even out yet? And that's obviously where a lot of, Wuthering Waves comes in, because Wuthering Waves is a game that has been killing it on mobile and also other platforms as well for the last year, and they've been doing a really, really good job bringing over a lot of new
Should I go ahead and spoil it now of the reason why Wuthering Waves was not nominated as the best mobile game? Or should we just wait a little bit longer? You know what? Let's wait a little bit longer.
Players and things like that, and doing really great events, really great updates, and obviously I think they would be the perfect fit to fit in there instead of a game.
Let me see if he gets it
even out at the moment. Now, obviously these other ones I'm not disputing at all. I'm not saying like, oh, Wuthering Waves should be there instead of Genshin Impact. Screw Genshin Impact. No, obviously they do deserve to be there in their own respects. But I think Enfield, a game that isn't even out yet, doesn't deserve to be in there just yet. Now, obviously, if you want to add them into the 2026 awards, then go ahead, because obviously the game should be out by then. But I think adding them into the 2025 awards, where obviously you've got other games like Wuthering Waves,
right,
Wuthering Waves as well. Any other game, any other mobile game that's also.
I'm just hoping that you get to the point here.
Time should have taken the place of Arknight's Enfield, but obviously, as me being a Wuthering Waves creator, I'm a little bit biased in terms of who I wanted to be in there. And honestly, I do think Wuthering Waves could have fit pretty well into this category.
Look, I am 100% sure that Wuthering Waves could have fit absolutely perfect in this. And I agree 110%. But there might be a reason why it did not show up. And I'm hoping that Kazuhana is going to explain this.
But yeah, it doesn't seem like that's happened. And obviously, Genshin Universe has been talking about this, saying Genshin Impact has been nominated for the best mobile game at Gamescom 2025. So the voting period begins on August 20th. It is Dungeon Crawler good. I said hopefully Genshin wins so we can get some free Primo Gems. It's because of things like this I always have time. It's things like this that will always have time-gated domain materials. I said we need to bot the vote. I said, and that means we'll receive rewards. Well, potentially, sometimes they don't. But I said, sure. But why Genshin Impact again when that was back in 2020? It should be replaced with Woowa or a different gacha game, which obviously they got 4 likes and 7 replies, which is Oh god, I don't even want to look at those replies. But yeah, I mean, I slightly agree, but at the same time, I think Genshin Impact deserves to be there more than, for example, like Arc-9 Zenfield, which isn't even out yet. You know, I think Genshin Impact obviously is an established game, and they never actually say, for example, like,
why we're not scrolling down no more? Whoa. Why we're not scrolling down no more? Why we're scrolling back up? You were scrolling down. Why we're scrolling up? Huh. Interesting. Well, in any case scenario, do you guys believe that Arc-9 Infield should not have been nominated as, you know, a best mobile game, even though it's in early access, stuff like this, you know? Because I know some people who's playing it or whatever. I have to go see. I have to actually go do a little bit of research on that. But I mean, what's your thoughts to chat so far on that? While we continue on,
I'm constrained. So like obviously a game can be older and still be featured in that kind of category. So I don't think that's a problem. I think Genshin Impact, you know, it does deserve to be there if that is the case. People are saying like, what is Enfield? Has Enfield been released on mobile yet? You know, saying imagine a game in CBT not currently with no release date announced is in the nominees but not Woowa. I'm not even a Woowa player, but this is so weird, you know? This is exactly what we're saying, you know? Obviously, a lot of you guys will go like, oh yeah, you know, you're a Wuthering Waves player, of course you want Wuthering Waves to be in there, but even like people like this who aren't a Wuthering Waves player are saying this is so weird, you know? Someone's saying probably because it's bad on mobile, but again, I don't think it's even that bad on mobile. I mean, I've played it on mobile before and it's run fine for me, and there's a lot of people that actually play Wuthering Waves on mobile. I mean, you know, you've seen the revenue charts, right? You know, all of that revenue is entirely from mobile. So there are people playing the game, and it is obviously playable if there is people bringing in, like, what was it, like 30 million or something last month or whatever. You know, it's crazy amounts of money. So obviously there are people still playing on mobile. You know, saying, why do you think Woowa deserves to get nominated? The game is pretty mid, and most of the, oh my god, bro. And most of the hype was artificially boosted by CCs. How can the hype be artificially boosted by CCs? Bro, the hype comes from the CCs. You know, saying it was artificially boosted by the CCs is crazy. It's because it actually has hype behind it. That's the reason why CCs are covering it, and that's the reason why it's getting more hyped up. Okay, bro. But yeah, obviously they're saying the game's mid and stuff. Which
so far, I don't. So far, we're 6 minutes and 58 seconds into here, and I mean, Wuthering Waves was left out of the Gamecom Awards is the title, and here's why. I haven't heard the here's why yet. Okay, I haven't heard the here's why yet. I mean, Kazahana, man, I would assume that you would have some knowledge here if you're going to be putting a title like this, right? Unless it's just completely clickbait and you just don't know exactly what happened. But regardless, you know, why do you think Woowa deserves to be nominated? The game is pretty mid, and most of the hype are artificially boosted by CCs. I mean, I get the point of that. I mean, it's kind of a, you know, it's what it is. But let's continue. I'm giving him a chance.
Player. I don't know. The mid, I'm a Genshin player, a ZZZ player too, but I know that Woowa players hate us, but Woowa is clearly not mid. It's a super cool game with gorgeous graphics, a good story, good character design. Where did you get that it was mid? Which obviously, yeah, it's crazy. It's a
I mean, to say that it is mid, let's be completely honest, that is a very, very subjective conversation to be had. Because while Wuthering Waves is really a beautiful game, it has great character design, it's gorgeous, and it's got great combat and everything, the open world, I think, could be best described as once you experience it, it's pretty empty afterwards. That even like the ecosystem and everything else, basically like your disk drive system or your artifact system in Genshin and ZZZ respectively, is kind of separated in Wuthering Waves to where one part of it you go ahead, you do like your tacit fields for your XP, and then you go out in the world to go farm your echoes, and then even then they have other ways where you don't even have to go into the open world anymore to go farm echoes like you did back in 1.0 days. So I'm just going to say that is a very subjective statement to go ahead and be like, you know, try to defend it and be like, oh, it's not, you know, mid or anything. Even the story is subjective, okay? Because to some people, it's the greatest story there is in the world. To some people, it's got pacing issues. And, you know, it's a decent story. And then to some people, it's completely crap. It all depends on your personal preference. Again, It's a gacha game. It's a game that hits different demographics. So let's continue on. I mean, we still got a solid 3 minutes left. Let's go.
Not sign up for Gamescom, so no nomination, which could actually be a kind of, that honestly could be a very valid answer. Maybe pro games were not included in the Gamescom kind of list, so they can't get nominated. But I do think it's pretty ridiculous that they literally just add games that, you know, are only the ones that are, you know, interacting with them. Because again, I don't know, I just find that a little bit weird. Obviously, so it's a bad game, don't get nominated, it's simple. Woowa is an objectively bad mobile game and PC game. Brother, okay. I love how, like, all of these people try to pretend that Woowa is a bad game. You know, it's not a bad game. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I totally understand if you're like full on Hoyoshio and you want to say that, yeah, Woowa's good, but I prefer Genshin Impact, you know, that's totally fine. But, bro, disingenuously saying it's objectively bad is absolutely crazy to me. So again, I see a lot of people are pretty delusional. You're saying, okay, I understand the 4 or 5 picks, but why the heck is Arcanine Enfield there? The game isn't even out yet. Obviously, yeah, people replying to that saying, why is Genshin in there? Which obviously, again, I have no problem with Genshin being in there. So the nominated games are all based on the games that will appear during the conference.
I mean, we're just reading Twitter comments.
Obviously, I think that kind of solves the issue here. But I do honestly think that they should open it up to more games as well, because you end up having this kind of problem where the awards just don't really make any sense, because you try to fill it up with whatever you possibly can. And I mean, it's just kind of weird, because why on earth are we voting for a non-released game as best mobile game? We don't know if it's best mobile game. There's nothing to judge it on. And I think that maybe, you know, if they had another mobile game that was, you know, maybe
come on, Kazahana, dude, you're not
be the one in
why are we not scrolling to the bottom of the page?
But I get they kind of
why we keep scrolling to the top
for the trailer and stuff. I don't know, I just thought it was very weird, and it was a very,
you think it's very
situation.
weird.
Obviously that gives us a little bit of clarity though on why it is exactly like that. But I do think at the end of the day, they should probably just include
more
something
clarity
outside of Gamescom, else it's just gonna look really bad. It just looks like a very useless kind of award show, you know. It's not a very yes, it's just not a very prominent award show. If you're only doing it based off the ones that show up at your thing, it's not really the best. It's the best out of the games that you have there. But it really seems like, you know, they are clutching at straws to make that category. You know, you got games like Genshin Impact, which is over 5 years old, you know, in there, as well as games that haven't even released. I mean, there obviously is enough mobile games to create this category. So they just went, just stuff, a ton of random stuff that are people like just showed up. I don't know, just add anything in there.
Are we just randomly going to be just keep on talking here?
Yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, I think it's a very interesting situation that has been going on. And yeah, go to GameStop, use my code Kazza, get 10% off again. They got a ton of really cool stuff.
Hell yeah, I'll use it. I want that cup right there. If I can get that cup right there, Kazza, I'll be great.
Yeah.
All right, good, man. All right. So, why would Wuthering Waves not be there is the question. Why? So Kazahana was right here, right? Let me zoom in so that way you can see a little bit better. Boom. Okay, y'all can see that, right? You can see that, right? I just want to verify that you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing. I mean, that was a complete nothing burger. Hold on, but let's scroll down. Categories: best visual, best audio, best gameplay, right? Let's keep scrolling. There's a lot of information. From July 7th to July 25th, game developers were able to submit their games for different categories at the Game Awards. The jury will be nominated 5 of each category and evaluation based on a point system. The nominees will be announced on August 18th, 2025 in a press release. The nominees for the category groups were chosen by the jury. The winners are determined by a combination of vote and such. Okay. The pricing of the different categories is, I guess this is, what is this? This is Euro? I have no idea what exactly this is. So let's go find out really quickly. What is this symbol for? This is Euro. Okay, so that is the Euro dollar sign. So it was 440 euros for one category, 800 for three categories, and each category was 200 per category. Assessment criteria. The jury will assess submitted games based on 7 criteria. The assessment of the criteria is designed in a score from 1 to 10. Graphics, gameplay, sound, innovation, entertainment, technology, and sales perspectives. So, could there be a possibility? I'm going to ask here really quickly. Because if we click right here for the PDF, and we go read all the PDF, I don't know. Kind of sounds like the game developer, in order to get nominated, needs to submit their game in order to get nominated. That they need to pay a fee. So they have rules of what needs to happen. To participate in the GameComs Award, exhibitors must complete the submission form before July 25 of 2025. After the submission period has ended, no further submission awards will be accepted. Incomplete applications, a failure to pay would result into the fees. Blah, blah, blah. Participating companies and exhibitors, entertainment areas, game cons, except for category. Submitted games must be hands-on playable by the general audience in game comps entertainment area during the duration of the show. A game can be submitted one to several categories. No direct submissions are possible for the category. Your fees for the category, submission fees will either entirely. So does that mean that Arknight Infield basically is going to have, according to this, hands-on playable to the general public, that they paid a submission fee to put themselves in there, and that the jury is going to end up voting on it? For submission, you need to make sure that you're providing gameplay footage, all of this. Like, I'm just gonna say, does it not sound like Kuro Games might not have actually paid a submission fee and submitted their stuff because maybe they're more enticed to, like some other game developers out there, that they're not really too worried about GameCom's award, that they're more worried about, actual game award in December? Because I went through this today and I was reading this PDF, and my only question here is why would Wuthering Waves not be considered as a game in one of these for, mobile game of the year? Why would Arknight Infield be here? Because it was a good question. It was a very good question. So, like I said, I watched the video for 5 minutes. We got to this point, and then I said, well, let me go to the website myself, and let me scroll down. And holy moly, I get the information right here in front of me. Like, right here. Basically tells me a story of what a possibility could be. That you have to pay a submission fee. It's not like, hey, we're going to pick, out of all the games, all the mobile games, we're going to put what we think we need to put in here. No. It sounds like to me that Hoyoverse paid a submission fee to do what? To get added in here. What did Arknight Infield do? They paid a submission fee to get added in there. What did Dungeon Crawler do? What did Servant of the Lake do? What did any of these games do? Like Nintendo. Why? It sounds like to me the developers themselves added their own games they're going to have play with. Because like even this game right here, this one from Capcom, this game's not out yet. This game is nowhere out yet. Borderlands 4 is nowhere out. No, they submitted their shit to go ahead and get added to Gamescom. Because most likely they're going to show a trailer. Most likely they're going to put a booth out there. Most likely they're going to do different things. So if Kuro Games didn't spend the money, if Kuro Games is not at Gamescom, then how then why are we trying to spread a narrative that Gamescom here is being a bot? Is because I'm going to say it sounds like to me from what I just watched here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it just sounded like to me from what I just watched as a react here that Kazahana is making it sound like Gamescom over here is being a little shady. Like, I don't think they're being shady. I just think it's certain people that paid certain money, certain companies that paid certain money and got whatever games they needed on there to donate it. It's advertisement. They're going to have a booth. They're going to showcase their game. They're going to be reward. It's going to be a reward. I mean, this is not Game Awards. You know, this is not where they're going to be picking 100 different games and then having the audience plus the jury decide the games of what's going to be the nominations. This was straight up paid. This was a paid event. So, I'll leave it with that. I'll let you guys' thoughts process go on that, but straight up to me, when it comes down into this position, when it comes down looking like this, it is just paid. That's why it's like €440 to submit your game to be in here. Here's the jury of who's going to be voting for what. Holy crap. And I'm going to be honest. Not half these people look like gamers. Just gonna say. But what's y'all thoughts in the comments? Like, what's gonna be your thoughts in the comment section? What's your thoughts in the chat right now? To me, reading over this, in order to even get put on here, you had to spend the €440 to get added into this list to become a nominee. And these are all the nominees. Don't know. I'm just putting it out there that I don't think that it was shady whatsoever. I feel like if you wanted that information, that it was so simple to go ahead and use a mouse wheel to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and come over here and start reading the information about the assessment criterias, about the pricing, to even click right here to get a PDF of how all of this works and go through this instead of sitting there and reading comments from a Twitter post. Well, like always, guys, keep it jazzy, keep it classy, and always keep it real. This is our react to Kazahana's video.